Hey everyone, it's Brandon here again for another video. So, a couple videos ago, you guys seemed to really like the last time I talked about manifesting stuff. And that's great because this is a topic I actually wanted to get in even more. And I know that you guys who are watching this, you're clicking on a spiritual video on a spiritual YouTube channel. You know, if your algorithm is showing you that, you've probably been doing this kind of work for quite a while. Or even if you're new to it, obviously, there's a chance that you've been pretty deep into this stuff. My channel goes deep into some other directions, but I've not spent a lot of time talking about manifesting yet. But today, I want to go ahead and do that. So, we're going to go deep into manifestation, and I'll probably bring in some more advanced parts of my spiritual practice, just over the years. We're going to tie this in with manifestation. I used to kind of see manifestation as like a beginner topic or like new age, and people can hear like new age as this somehow it's a bad thing. Maybe there are bad things about the new age, but for me, I think manifestation is just a natural part of life. It's a natural part of a spiritual practice. I mean, if you're a monk and you're in Buddhism and you're trying to become awakened, you're trying to manifest that awakened mind within you. You're trying to realize that. If you're even, in like the Christian faith or something, you might be praying to manifest a better spiritual future for yourself or for healing for yourself, your family, another person. So, like manifestation and kind of searching and seeking for some type of change in the outer world or even within our inner world, it is a natural part of just spiritual evolution for human beings and just spiritual practice as a whole. So, I think I was kind of wrong in the past to look at the more like new agey manifestation type stuff, to look down on that. I've realized now that there's actually a huge need for this, and it is a big part of our healing, I think, on earth right now. If you're on a spiritual journey, if you have a serious spiritual practice, you've been doing it for years, leaving out manifestation, leaving out getting yourself to a higher vibrational frequency, even though it can seem kind of like woo-woo stuff, it is really important. And I know you guys watching this video, you're probably aware of a lot of this stuff. So I want to get in more to the topic of the video. So we know that manifesting occurs mainly through experiencing the heightened emotion or the higher vibration feelings, emotions, sensations, getting yourself into the experience of abundance, getting yourself into the experience of wealth, you could say, but I would say more so than like abundance, wealth, or beauty, or whatever your main thing you want to get to. The real point of manifestation is you need to take your state of being, which is here on an everyday basis, doing your 9 to 5, doing your normal job, even if you work for yourself. You've got this baseline. You need to go to the stratosphere. You need to go up to level 10,000. Okay, that's my assignment for you. You've been at 0 baseline, you've been getting to like 5 on happiness every here and there. You need to find your way to get to 10,000. 10,000 out of 10 happiness. How do you get there? Well, I mean, the way that I know best for myself is through different spiritual practices like meditation, and there's some other more controversial ones too. But really, like, your journey and your path to get to your 10,000 out of 10 happiness, that's up to you to really find what works, okay? But the fact is, you can feel into what works. And once you feel into what works, what makes you feel that 10,000 out of 10 amazing, there's your marker. That's how you go to wealth and abundance. Because it's that emotion itself that's going to reprogram you. Some people say even at a genetic level, and I think the science actually aligns with this a little bit. Like if you get into states of high well-being, high happiness and bliss, there is something that transforms about you. So much of our lives, we go about those 9 to 5 jobs. I know you guys, I know so many of you out there, you've gone to the nine to 5 job or the university or even like just through high school or even earlier schooling. We all have gone through situations where we weren't the most inspired. We didn't love it. We weren't super passionate maybe about some of the things that we were doing, and we wished that things could be different. But we were stuck in that day in, day out loop. And being in a loop like that, we've all been there. Most of us might still already be there, unfortunately. You've got to find your escape route. So, where can you potentially find your escape route? Your escape route is going to be in whatever makes you feel good already. You need to spend some more time there. And then, you might get to like a 5 out of 10 happiness or an 8 out of 10. You might have a really great night with a certain group of friends, or you might even have a kind of like love interest or someone you get with and you just feel amazing with them. Like these are beginner little tips of how to get to your 10,000 out of 10 happiness. When you find anything that makes you feel kind of good, if it's making you feel a lot better than you used to be, that's important. That means you need to keep hitting on that area. You need to keep spending your time. Look at your every day. Imagine every single second had a number on this 0 to 10,000 out of 10 happiness. Imagine there were just points on a graph to kind of match each second of each day. If you want to manifest, if you want your life to change and become easier and better and more fulfilling and just have an abundant life, if you want this to happen, you need to make that graph grow over time. You need the data points on that graph. So each second, next year, when you look at a single day compared to this year, you should see a growth. You should see a higher point where, okay, maybe back in 2020, Brandon's like average happiness level out of 10 every second was like a 3.5, or maybe it was a 7. The number itself doesn't matter, right? We're not talking about the relative growth of one person. We're talking more about the growth on the scale that you'll find for yourself. So wherever you start on this, it doesn't really matter. If you start out suicidally depressed, that's actually great because you can improve very quickly. That's actually by definition like the fastest way to improve is if everything feels horrible, all you have right now is just hard emotions, bad self-talk, just everything going wrong. What that means is if you change one thing right today and you just have one better data point, 1 second where you're happier than you were the last day, you're already moving forward, relatively speaking, a lot faster than most people. And so it's taking these mini wins. Throughout your day, you have a natural intelligence. You need to just trust yourself with a lot of this too. But you need to literally like look at who you are as a person and just realize there's an immense like billions of years chain of evolutionary fucking genius within me right now that's acting every second that I'm alive. I can figure out how to have a better life. I can figure out how to be happy. It's not even that hard. Like if I just like look at what my body and my mind and my soul are already trying to do and I just listen to that and I follow that, you'll get there actually way faster than you think. And that's where we get into like manifestation is guaranteed. It's easy if you say so. Your positivity is your wealth. Well, every time you have a second in your day where it is more positive, where you are higher on that happiness scale than normal, you are moving closer to manifestation. What are we trying to manifest? The happily ever after, the life of our dreams. That's what we're trying to manifest. We're trying to manifest love and positivity and beauty and just every single possible good thing you could ever imagine. Everything that, Superman would fight for justice, for just helping others, for being the strength in a community, for whatever it is. We're fighting for the good, with both a lowercase g and capital G. We're just fighting for basic goodness in the world. We're representatives of basic goodness, you might say. That's what we want to be when we're manifesting. So every time we get to experience a little bit better of a state of our internal being, our internal experience, there's not really much of a difference between internal and external. It's really more of a mental labeling thing that changes that. What I'm talking about, what is internal? This painting behind me is internal. Why? Because I'm interfacing with it in an internal way within my own awareness, within my own consciousness, my own direct experience. The same thing as this phone in front of me. Like, you could think that's a physical object, but what it really is an object within my consciousness. And even consciousness as a notion is a sort of mental object of consciousness within my real consciousness, which doesn't fit within language and isn't a human defined thing and isn't a concept. But anyway, so the point is, guys, guys and gals, whoever you are, you gotta have a better day. What is manifesting about? Like, if you say so, say, today I'm gonna have a better day than I had yesterday, and it's just non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. And you don't even have to be angry about that. You don't even have to be forceful about that. Just say, you are so convinced. Be convinced for once. Convince yourself. I'm having a better day than I had yesterday. And then the next day, see one day of success and then see how far you get. And you can keep building on this. You'll find your own tricks. It's not about a trick. It's not about a hack. It's not about this one secret thing. Although later on in this video, I will give you, well, it's literally, I called it in my script, here's my one weird trick for manifestation. I will give you that in a little bit. But I just want to hammer home this genuine point, or this general point too. Genuine, general point. You, okay, the person watching this video, the person who's 5 or 10 or however 12, whatever minutes we are into this video. I hope it's not 12. I feel like I'm dragging this out, but hopefully you are still entertained. That's all that matters. Maybe I'm even raising those little happiness points or well-being points just a little bit for you, and that's probably why you're still here if you're still watching. If you're angry watching this, you're creating the wrong energy in your life watching this. Go watch something else. You don't have to be angry at me. Like, you can be angry at me. Take it all out on me. Use me as your internet punching bag if you want. But that's not the kind of energy that's going to help you. But yeah, so in that last manifestation video that I made that a lot of you seem to like and resonate with, I could tell a lot of you like being talked to directly. And I will just say I do have faith in a lot of you guys. And it really just, anyone who's going to watch these videos, do the work that it takes to make yourself a better person. Like, if you're watching personal development videos on the internet or spiritual development videos on the internet, you're already doing great. Like, literally, just by that. Just by that. There are so many people who don't really take their lives under their own control. And that's what this manifestation stuff is all about. Like, literally, the entire experiential universe is under your direct control. But when I say that, we're getting into definitions of identity and understanding who and what you are that are a bit beyond the normal understanding. So don't take that at face value and think that I mean that you, John Stewart, if there's a John Stewart watching this video, then that's even more funny. But if your ego character with a legal name and all this and that is the one who's interpreting this message as me saying that you are the infinite creator and the infinite maintainer and the one powering this whole show of experience that's going on right now, I'm not talking to the ego you. I'm not talking to the human personalized view of a self either. I'm not even talking about the capital S self, because there's something beyond that too. What I'm talking to is the fabric of reality, you could say, which doesn't even need a fabric. That's how powerful it is. Like, if you call it God, you call it, source, whatever word you want to use for this awesome thing, which it doesn't matter which word you use. Technically, it can't be contained within a word. You in your fullness, your highest self, you could even say, none of that is contained in these language barriers that we like to hold. And a lot of people get into arguments like, oh, you called it God or God the Father instead of this or that. And I say it's source, and I say it's people get lost in these arguments of definition, and we're using human words that will never contain the full divinity that we're meaning to talk about here. So just remember that, guys. These are all just, the words are all just pointers, and what I'm trying to point you to is the actual territory, which is what you are in this instant right now that you're watching this. So as you're this infinite freaking thing that's in this experience, and you're like me, and you're like in this human meat suit thing, and this meat suit, you know, we can make fun of it, call it a meat suit, say it's like this, oh, it's a physical thing, it's lower nature, whatever. It's actually not. Like, our bodies have so much intelligence within them, and what a lot of manifesting is actually about is tapping into the inner intelligence of our bodies. So there's not actually a defined line between our mind, our brain, our consciousness, our body, our emotions. None of that has an actual solid like lines that divide the different systems. It's actually just one freaking system. One freaking awesome, great master system to rule them all is what is running you right now. And if you feel into that thing, feel into your thoughts, feel into the emotions, feel into the physical sensations that are there with the more mental impressions of your emotions and all this different stuff. Feel into who and what you are. And the more that you feel into this and you allow this, whether it's a painful, difficult emotion or an emotion like I've been talking about, what we're trying to hit on here is those moments of well-being, having more of those, whatever feeling it is, like if you fully sit with and feel a feeling or think a thought, and you are simply present with yourself in real time, the immense intelligence, the literal infinite intelligence of that holistic system thing that you are, including your higher self, including the creator, including the maintainer, including the infinite right now that's happening, that is creating you and generating your whole reality right now, and even generating me telling you this, like all of that together is an infinitely intelligent entity, so to speak. And that's what I'm talking to when I'm talking to you about how to manifest. So you got to realize you already like are manifesting everything. When I'm sitting here, you know, how arrogant of me to tell you how to manifest, because what I am to you is like a representation of a human being in a recording on a screen with some audio coming out of a device. You know, you're interfacing with like a very like watered down, reduced version of me. And I'm interfacing with even more like a totally imaginary version of you. I can't contact the true you. The true you is actually more here in my moment, just in what I'm seeing and feeling, than it would be on, you know, some screen if I saw a picture of you. So like we're separate in that sense, but we're made of the same fabricless fabric. And that's how I can kind of talk to you guys in these videos and kind of relate to you. So like, I understand we're all in this human game. We're all in this, we get stuck in these 9 to 5s. We get stuck in these grind mindsets, these freaking winter arcs. I'm tired of these winter arcs, bro. Like it's fall's not even over yet. Calm down. But for anyway, so let's give you that one weird trick for manifestation. So the one weird trick is, we're on YouTube right now. I'm making content on YouTube right now, and you're watching it on YouTube right now as we're having this discussion. I also watch a lot of content on YouTube, and I consume content on in other areas online too. But YouTube is a big one, and it's a great example. So everybody has probably heard of the YouTube algorithm. We inform YouTube what content to send to us by what we watch. And that's one of the reasons why I know when you click on this video and when you choose to be this far along in the video, I know that we have a lot in common. I know that you're an intelligent person and you understand much of what I say, and maybe understand a lot of the things more than I do on certain topics. Or you might have a ton to add, a ton more depth on one subject or another. But my point is, you're on this, they design these apps to addict us. And how do they addict us? A lot of the time, it's not by sending us our highest virtues and values to pay attention to, because those things usually take a bit of work and a bit of thought. what the social media companies are really interested in sending us is the low vibrational content, the stuff that's going to trigger us and make us comment and argue with other people in the comments and think, wow, they're an idiot, my position's right, I'm going to go listen to my politician now. I used to one of the things it kind of bugs me to not watch this stuff anymore, but I really had an interest in like geopolitics and even war. Like it sounds bad, but all the various wars going on in the world right now, the war in Ukraine, various wars in like Israel and other countries surrounding Israel, the China Taiwan, potential all kinds of stuff. More wars than that. There's more wars than you can count. More wars popping up and more proxy wars than you can imagine running in this world right now, and we don't even know what's coming, right? And you can get into this negative content consuming loop. And then what you realize is I just spent an hour of my time as a human being. I wasn't manifesting anything good. I was sitting there being mildly entertained by content talking about really negative shit. Whereas with that hour, I could have been watching something like what you're watching now, or I could have been making my own video to try to help other people or try to inspire people. Or I could be reading a book or lifting weights or making money or creating a loving relationship or whatever, or holding a baby. Like, there are a lot of things you could do that are positive with your time. So, like, manifesting, a lot of it is stop giving your energy to the crap, to the junk. Sometimes it's your diet. Maybe you're eating a lot of junk foods that make you feel like crap. If your energy levels start to go down, or if they're already low, that's one thing to look at. Like, where is my food at? Like, where is the energy that I intake into my body? What am I feeding my body? What am I giving myself as a way to kind of actually give myself a leg up in this life? Manifesting happens on so many different levels, many levels where it's completely scientifically validated. Like, it's nothing new, it's nothing fancy. A lot of it's just basic stuff. But there are also higher levels of understanding manifestation. Anyway, I do want to get into something here. So there's a YouTuber I've been watching, and one of the things I've been liking to do after I experienced this recent shift that I talked about in a couple videos ago that a lot of you might have seen. If you haven't seen it and you're watching this one, you'll probably like that one even more, so I would go back. It's another video about manifestation. You can go check it out. It's about a shift in consciousness that's happening right now in the world. A lot of us are experiencing it. And anyway, so one of these YouTubers, her name is Cara Elizabeth Speaks. She said this really cool idea, and I've heard of it sort of before, and there is actually a biblical kind of support for it as well, scriptural support. So the idea is, like, you need to pray, right? Or you send, like, you could call it a request. But I mean, if we're talking about in like a more Christian sense, or just like more kind of religious sense, people call it prayer a lot. And you could just say, I'm praying to God. It's really simple. You could say, I'm praying to Source, or I'm communicating with Source. I'm, sending a request to, the infinite creator for financial abundance, whatever you want to say. But really, just getting in here, we could talk about prayer. So, like, if you say a heartfelt prayer, you say, for me, I might say, like, Dear Heavenly Father, just because the conditioning I was brought up in, like, that's the phrase I like to use. And then I might close the prayer with, in the name of Jesus Christ, amen. That's one way you can pray. But the importance when you say prayer is, like, you actually bring a lot of emotion into it and a lot of positive intention into it. And that's where the manifestation stuff comes in. I've already hinted at a lot of this before in this video. It's about sending out those stronger emotions and more positive feelings, attaching that to what you want, but more so just experiencing those in the first place. Like, the practice is the reward when it comes to manifestation. Feeling good is the practice of how to manifest a better life, and feeling good is already what you want anyway. Cut out the middleman of needing money or a relationship or spiritual development or whatever to get that. Just go to feeling good right now, and that's going to take you to everything else you could ever want. But anyway, so like you can bring that feeling, that emotion, or it could even be that genuine, authentic desire of something that you really want. You could pray to God, the universe, etc., that you want this thing. And the beautiful thing that Cara brings up in her video is you say the prayer, and then immediately as you say the prayer and immediately as it's done, you act and you know that the prayer has been answered immediately. And she brought it up in a kind of cool way, which is the question, like, people think of God as like this infinite being or creator with, infinite power, like literal no limitations, right? Can do anything. But then a lot of the time when people pray or when they try to manifest, they do it as if it's going to take 2 years, or if like God got stuck in traffic, like he'll be here in a minute, like, or actually he had to book, he mixed up his vacation dates, he'll be here next year. No, like that's not how it works. Okay, we're talking to the infinite power of your higher self, which is here, which is you. It doesn't take any time to make that communication. It's not going through some, even a fiber optic cable. No, it's faster than that. There's no distance, no time that it has to travel. So you feel the emotion now, you feel the authentic desire now, and you make the communication now, and the communication is received right now. And the manifestation happens right now. And what is the main manifestation? So as Cara says, you become your own prayer. So you have full faith in the moment that the prayer is uttered or asked. God has already answered it. There is some biblical, support for that too. I don't know the exact scripture. If you look it up, I'm sure you can find it easily. Anyway, so that's a Christian concept. There's probably plenty of other concepts very similar in other faiths and other spiritual traditions. So let's not just be, biased here. It's not just that tradition. But anyway, so that's kind of how you can approach it. I want to manifest something. You can realize that. First off, manifesting from the feeling in the space of I don't have it and I lack it isn't necessarily the best. Sometimes an authentic yearning and desire can be good, but really we want to bring in really just whatever raw emotion we can into it is best. Whatever authentic emotion and deep felt expression is best. But in general, with manifesting a better life, what that has to look like is you actually have to feel your life being better, and you have to be grateful for what you have. And that's the hard work no one wants to do, is they want to feel better now. They want to get, like, literally the work of manifestation is getting to the result right now here in this moment, which is feeling better. How do you do that? It doesn't have to be through the thing that you're asking for. But anyway, you tie those higher vibrational emotions to your desire or to the thing that you want. That's ultimately what's going to take you there. But just your whole body, you know what your intentions are. You know what you want out of life. So as you embody higher emotions, as you feel more joy, as you feel more happiness, as you feel more humor in life, as things feel lighter and less like some freaking horror movie survival situation where you're stressed out every day and on all kinds of stimulants, jacked up 7 cups of coffee trying to get shit done. Like, let all that energy go, man. Let all of that energy go. Come on. You don't need that anymore. Literally, if you want an easy, awesome life, you have to begin to live that at some point in time and realize that it's going to be just fine if you act that way. That's the only way that it can come about. So, like, if you want to live a wealthy life, you have to live with the identity of a wealthy person. How do you do that without being an imposter? Well, first off, you become wealthy in what you're already wealthy in. If you have a great family that supports you, recognize your wealth now. If you have a car that runs, recognize your wealth now. If you have clean drinking water, recognize your wealth now. If you have the internet and you have access to information that can better your life, be grateful for that. Use that well. Utilize that well. Sometimes it's just utilizing the blessings we already have been given and being grateful for those, that's all it takes to take us to the next level. And as we go through life, we're going to get to these higher and higher tiers of our manifestation coming true, that our dreams will come into reality before our own eyes. One thing I'll say is about a year and a half ago, I came home. I even had came out of the psych ward recently. Like I've discussed on my channel, I have bipolar disorder. I came out of the psych ward. I was not feeling the best, but I kneeled down and I said a prayer. I wanted a different direction in my life. I had been working a lot in my career and working really hard to try to become a stronger, better person and try to manifest the life of my dreams, right? And it still felt like things weren't going as fast as I wanted. But one thing that really I finally admitted to myself after like 2 or 3 years of intentionally being single and working on myself and trying to build a better life before getting in a relationship, I literally knelt down on my hands and knees, or not my hands, like on my knees, like kneel down, and I prayed to God, and I asked for a family and a wife. And, now, a year and a half later, that's been answered. I have a baby, and that we're engaged right now. Might be married pretty soon. We'll see. That's in the plans. But I prayed, okay? And we'll bring this in, tie this in with what Cara said. You become the answer to your prayer. When you pray for something like that, let's say you're praying for love, you're praying for a family, praying for something like that, praying for a partner. If you go throughout life and you never said that prayer, and you never felt like there was some type of divine guidance or assistance coming in, you might not have the confidence to talk to that person at that same moment in time. And things might slip by and you might never meet that person. Or you might just, if you pray and you pray regularly for something, I can guarantee it's more likely to happen. Even if it's something that seems wildly out of your league or out of what you think you can do. Like, it's when your mind is set on getting a goal and knowing that it's possible and knowing that you're bringing in all your resources, even the spiritual ones, even going to kneel down before God and admit your faults and say, hey, God, I know I'm small. I know I have some stuff to work on. I know I'm not quite as a beast as you, the infinite creator, but I will sit here and I will ask for this small thing. When you do that, like, it sends out a great energy because you're recognizing an authentic desire. But even more than that, you're focusing your mind and your attention on something that will bring your life forward. And, God, the universe, source, whatever you want to say, your higher self, they know what's good for you. And when you seek something that's good for you and you do that by being a good person in the rest of your life and you work hard and you do what you can to improve your life, it's going to come there. But it's the prayer or the attempt at manifestation that brings it into full focus, that makes you see the rest of your life as an opportunity to get there. If you think that you can't get to your goal and you don't even have the balls to ask God for help, then it's a lot harder to expect it to ever come true, because you're not even going to be focused on it. You're going to be focused on whatever low vibrational crap that you usually are. You're going to be watching the presidential election, stuck in those cycles of fear mongering and hate spewed from side to side. Don't do that either. We all get caught up from time to time, right? But I don't know. I've said a lot. This video was in a bit of a different direction than I thought. But I guess I'm looking at my notes here. So, closing thoughts. It's easy to get caught up in the kind of negative direction that life can go. I know that a lot of you watching this, you try really hard to have a better life, but we can still get down. I had a kind of down day today. A few days after, I was really focused on things going better and had a lot of quick results and things were great. There's a natural result. Like, you're gonna have ups and downs. I mean, having bipolar disorder, it's even a like stronger insight into that, you could say, of the cyclical nature of life. So sometimes you will need time to recover, or sometimes, you're not always going to have your best feeling day, and that's okay. Like, you need to have space to allow yourself to not feel the greatest, because trying to inauthentically feel great is not necessarily better than authentically feeling sadness, authentically feeling loss or low self-worth. Like, the biggest thing is feeling into who you are and what you are in the now, coming in full contact with that, embodying what you already actually are, and sensing into that. And as you do so, you will be your own North Star guiding compass, a thing to take yourself to prosperity. And I really have faith and I trust that you guys are already on the right track. Like, you don't even need any more help at this point. All you need to do is just go out and live life. Live life and live from your heart and have good intentions, and realize that sometimes you made a mistake. Sometimes you need to tell that person sorry, whatever it is. And just live life with your heart a little less sheltered tomorrow. And I think you'll see, as you can kind of take the layers of protection off from your inner being over time, over the years of doing these spiritual practices like, manifestation and trying to live in a higher vibrational place. As you do these practices, you will get there. And the frustrating thing is, you might get there faster than you thought, and you might feel better than you thought you ever would get to, but you still want more. And that's kind of the human nature, is even though we can be very grateful, we are kind of desirous creatures. We want more. And there's beauty to that, because that's what actually leads us to greatness, is that we aren't settled. We don't settle for nothing. We don't settle on small things. The people on this channel, we don't settle for small goals. Really, don't do it. Don't settle for the small goals in life. Like, you're worth more. Don't settle for the small job, the comfortable job. You've got something great within you, and I know you're going to bring that out, and I can't wait to see it. So until next time, I'm going to see you guys later.